Hello humans, it's just Martine, and today I'm going to be reading two of my friend's favorite books from 2021. I did a previous video with 4 other friends, and after this I'll still have 1 friend to read for, but I was planning on doing these 3 reads at once for Kaylas Pick, Nicoleta's Pick, and then Melody's Pick, but then Melody's Pick is going to take like 14 weeks to get here from the library. Since I had already started reading Kayla's Pick, I was like, this isn't fair to Kayla. She's going to want to hear my thoughts as soon as possible. Yesterday, I finished Kayla's Pick. Today, I read Nicoleta's Pick, and now I'm going to show you my reactions to them. Last night, for Kayla's Pick, I finished reading Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, and I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars, so obviously I really enjoyed it. It's a sci-fi, and it's a thriller, but I don't really want to say much more about the plot if you're at all interested in reading it, because I went in entirely blind, like knew nothing about this book. And that made it a very enjoyable experience for me. I'm not sure how my experience would have been affected knowing things about it. I thought the character of Jason Dessen was he was an interesting character, right? And I thought the way that we saw him evolve over time was incredibly interesting and had a lot of great messages under that, and I really appreciated that. It didn't hit emotionally home for me, or didn't feel like my heart was super in it read, which would be what gave it a 5 stars for me, and that's why it's a 4 stars. But I had a really fun time reading it. It's a really quick read, even though I have to warn you that the chapters are quite long. If you don't like long chapters, beware. That said, even though they're long chapters, they go really fast. It took me 3.5 hours of reading time to read this book. It's hard to say much without spoiling this book, so I'm not sure what I should say, except that the concept is really interesting, and it was especially interesting reading this after a movie that came out in 2021, and I feel like that's all I can say. I like that it was from the perspective of a scientist. I did appreciate that. I don't know how accurate anything he said that was sciencey was. I'm not a quantum physicist, as it were, or even anything close to it, so I don't know anything about that, but it at least worked for me being whatever, whatever about the science stuff, and just enjoy the ride of the story. It was definitely high stakes. As the numbers were counting down, I was stressed out, very stressed. It happened. I read it, I had a good time. It was a great pick, Kayla. I can understand why you love it. I can understand why lots of other people love it. I definitely think people should read it. Especially, so if you're not sure about sci-fi, but you love a thriller and you want to get more into sci-fi or find a sci-fi that you would like, I would definitely recommend this one in that instance. There were some scenes where I was I feel like I don't understand the science or what they're saying, but if you really just gloss over that, you quickly get to a place where you understand what's going on and you're okay, I'm good. And I thought Blake Crouch did a really good job taking complex things and painting images of it that were quite simple to comprehend. Did it, done, dusted. In one sitting, I listened to the audiobook of The Traveling Cat Chronicles, which is Nicoleta's Pick. It's a translated work, which I always love reading. It has a really comforting vibe to it. It's about this cat and his owner in Japan, and they go on this road trip. The owner of the cat is trying to find a new place for the cat to live, but he won't tell anybody why, and place after place after place that they go, this cat does something to make it so that he can't stay at this place, and he stays with this owner a little longer. And it's a really charming story and really sweet and bittersweet in some places and in some ways. I specifically listened to the audiobook, which I would highly recommend because I don't know what it was, but I loved the narrator so much. His voice was just crisp enough, just comforting enough. It was great and enjoyable and good and all those things. So I totally understand why a lot of people give this a really high rating. I mean, I gave it a really high rating. I feel like it's one of those books that's really difficult to discuss, which sucks because I'm only talking about 2 books in this video, so there's it'll just be a short one. I really think this is a good palate cleanser of a book, and definitely a quick read. It's marked on Goodreads as being 288 pages, but I listened to the audiobook in 2 hours and 5 minutes, because I usually listen to audiobooks at 3 times the speed if I can handle the narrator doing that, and this narrator was perfect for that. And so I was just dawdling about my room, doing whatever I could to pass the time while I listened to it, It's a good book to be read like in one sitting, but you can also span it out. I do have to say that the chapters are pretty long, but again, since I was listening on audiobook and I really kind of anticipated doing this in one sitting, that wasn't really a problem for me. But just if that's something that you're on the lookout for, know that. If you want to get into more translated works, I definitely recommend this one. If you're looking for a good audiobook, I'd recommend this one. If you like cats, I definitely recommend this one. If you like pets in general, I notoriously dislike cats, and yet the bits that were from the perspective of the cat were very charming to me. I probably dislike cats because my personality is just like a little too similar to theirs, so hearing the cat's perspective was like fun. My one issue with the audiobook was that I did have trouble sometimes noting when it was switching between the one perspective and then the cat's perspective. I don't know if that was like an attention thing, that was my fault, or I don't know if it's worked better in like the physical book. I have no idea. Either way, that was just a small thing for me that did occasionally make it more difficult to enjoy, but overall this was a really fun read, perfect for the night I'm having, the day I'm having. So thanks, Nicoleta, for that. So 2 4 stars. Clearly my friends have incredible taste. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up and comment down below. Have you read either of these books? If so, what were your thoughts? If not, which one seems most interesting to you? And make sure you check out my friends' channels down below and subscribe for more reading, writing, and college lifestyle content. And until next time, bye humans, bye.